Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming here and joining us here at La Maestra, yet again to celebrate a brand new project or program, and we are honored to be able to have the first art piece that was designed by Lynn Suchholz, that you'll hear from her in a little bit. And this was a commissioned art piece for City Heights and meant to represent City Heights, and she'll explain how that came about and why she chose this design and what does that mean. It's all very culturally diverse as it represents City Heights and La Maestra. We're thrilled because this is really the kickoff to our cultural arts and healing program. As you'll notice, we have this wonderful first art piece. We also had another donated to us by Nikki de Saint-Phal, and it's a charitable trust, and they donated a wonderful original print, and that kind of added to our collection. And now we have, as you'll see, and I hope you take a minute to walk through our conference area, we have many paintings from people from different cultures. We think it's super important to preserve the different art designs, whether it's weaving, painting, the different applications, sculpture, whatever. We think it's super important to preserve that and also to be able to pass this down. Maybe many of the seniors in our community are the only ones that remember these techniques. And how cool is it to be able to pass that down to the teens and really make it be a living component here in our wonderfully diverse community. So we're here to celebrate that as well, and we hope to be able to invite you back to do an exhibition and of all of these wonderful art pieces that we continue to collect. And if you know anybody who is an artist that would like to contribute, that would be great. Local artists would be fantastic. So we first embarked on this through one of our consultants and long-term friends who worked with Kaiser Permanente for years, Diane Strum. And she then became a consultant after she retired from Kaiser, and she kept with us on our capital campaign and on our cultural health and arts campaign. And then she introduced us to Gail Goodman and to Lynn Suchholz. So that's how the connection was made. And then they said, well, you know, would La Maestra be interested in having this art piece here at the building? And we're like, well, yeah, what does that mean exactly? But it was really cool. And we have so many questions from people, you know, how did this come about? Why was this design decided upon? So anyway, I want to, at this moment, introduce, and there's Diane Strum. We were just talking about you. There she is, trying to sneak in. So I think we'll go ahead, since Mayor Filner isn't here yet. Larry, would you like to come up? Sure. Thank you. Larry Baza is the chair of the City of San Diego Commission's Arts and Culture Public Art Committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you so much, Sara. It's wonderful to be in this great place that has such an important service for health of the residents of this community. Good afternoon. And I have my notes because, you know, I've reached the age where I've got to have the notes or I might not thank someone, and that's not right, especially on these occasions. It's an honor to represent the City of San Diego's Commission for Arts and Culture and its Public Art Committee today. We're so pleased that Bob Mayor Filner will be with us shortly, we hope, to dedicate the piece of art by Lynn Suchholz. I'd like to emphasize the Commission's appreciation for Council President Todd Gloria's assistance and support of this project throughout its development. In particular, Council Representative Pam Eisen, who has been involved in many steps of this project along the way. You'll recall that City Heights was part of District 3 before redistricting. So we also thank Council Member Marty Emerald, who continues to carry the torch for public art and arts and culture during her tenure on the City Council and all the neighborhoods of the new District 9, where we are today. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the Commission staff who managed the implementation of this public art project. Nigel Brooks, Arts Management Specialist. Raise your hand, Nigel. Dana Springs, the Public Art Program Manager. And you don't have to clap for all of them at this point, but I'd like to acknowledge my fellow commissioners that serve with me on the Commission for Arts and Culture. John Bennekamp, who is the Vice Chair. Joanne Hayakawa, who serves on the Public Art Committee with me. And there are no other commissioners here. You may not know that the City of San Diego collects and commissions art. In fact, the city has been exhibiting art in public places for over 100 years and now has a collection of more than 500 public artworks, all placed throughout the city. The city's entire collection numbers more than 1,000 works of art that have been donated or commissioned to the City of San Diego for all of the citizens to enjoy. As chair of the Commission's Public Art Committee, I've worked with a dedicated group of volunteers to develop and refine the mission and vision for the city's public art and civic art collection. The city's commissions and collects art to provide meaningful aesthetic and cultural experiences for San Diego's residents and visitors. The city collects artworks that demonstrate creativity and innovation involved in the making of art. Art that stimulates discussion and exchange of ideas. Artworks that soften and enhance the sometimes dense, hard urban landscape with humanizing elements. Art that honors the history and heritage of San Diego and its citizens, and San Diego's character and diversity. The art that we dedicate today, Grandmother's Kitchen, Grandfather's Garden, uses 21st century technology to showcase family and cultural traditions of some of the new immigrants of this community. Created by artist Lynn Sussoltz. Lynn Sussoltz's Grandmother's Kitchen and Grandfather's Garden is the newest artwork in the city's collection. This isn't the first original artwork Lynn has been commissioned to create for the city. Lynn is an artist and educator who lives and works in North Park. She is the founder of Art Produce, an artist-run gallery, garden, classroom, and community gathering space. Lynn's creation of Art Produce in North Park made her a pioneer in the development of the growing North Park Arts District. Her work at Art Produce was featured in the fall 2012 national issue of Public Art Review. She is also the co-founder of Stone, Paper, Scissors, an artist collaborative that specializes in community and development through the arts. Stone, Paper, Scissors has created artworks for public agencies, schools, business groups, and neighborhoods. Commissions for public and private spaces range from storefront improvements to playscapes for children to the design of community gardens. Stone, Paper, Scissors has received 5 Orchid Awards from the San Diego Architectural Foundation and an award from the American Planners Association for her work. Before I turn this back to Zara, who will introduce the mayor, I'd like to express some appreciation also to David Stevenson. Is David here? David Stevenson is a trustee and a representative for the Nicky Charitable Art Trust, as well as other community members who selected Lynn through the commission selection process. Ricky Franchi, Matthew Gregoire, Andrea Geyer, Peter Terazakis for this work. And last but not least, we owe a debt of gratitude to another artist who made this project possible, the late French artist Niki de Saint-Pal, who made this project possible. Niki moved to San Diego in 1994 and spent 8 years creating and installing her colorful and playful sculptures around San Diego County. Niki believed, as many of us who work in public art, that art has the power to weave communities and build those communities and cultures together. And when she witnessed the geographical and social bifurcation of City Heights during the construction of I-15, she began to envision public art as a healing force for this neighborhood. Thanks to Niki's donation of $25,000 to the City of San Diego for the purpose of funding public art in City Heights, we now have Lynn's meaningful artwork here on this wall today for this community. I'd also like to acknowledge the former executive director of the commission who just arrived, Victoria Hamilton. Raise your hand, Victoria. But last but not least, we want to thank Zara Marcelian, CEO and founder of La Maestra, for her vision and leadership in welcoming this project. Grandmother's Kitchen, Grandfather's Garden is an appropriate artwork for this space where people wait for health and healing services. Thank you. Zara.
Thank you, Larry. You're very eloquent. And, you know, I wanted to just introduce, if some of our board members that are here can just raise your hands, please. So anybody in the audience wants to go speak with you? Alexi, I see you back there. Carlos? Okay. And members of our programs that are associated with arts and healing, like our microcredit, Elena Cruz, please raise your hand. Yay. At this moment, I would like to introduce our friend and local artist and star of the day, Lynn Suchholz. Please come up.
Thank you. I'll try to be eloquent.
All right.
I have my water. First of all, I'd like to thank Zara. Her vision, her commitment to the vitality, the health of this community is amazingly inspiring. It does feel like the perfect place for this work to be for reasons that came together. It feels like it has a very appropriate and happy home here, so I thank her much for that. And absolutely need to thank the Niki Foundation and the intent of Niki de Saint-Pal to pursue the cultural connections in cities and in communities, and the importance of that she saw. I was lucky enough as a child to grow up in a city that had some amazing art patrons, where I got to actually see some Niki sculptures when I was a kid. There weren't too many women artists that I was exposed to as a kid, and she was one of them, and that meant a lot to me, and it really is quite an honor to have this funding directed towards a work that I would do, kind of a full circle thing, and to try to extend her commitment to this community and to celebrate the incredible richness, cultural richness and diversity of this community, in which I worked for a while, actually, before I was selected for this project. So it kind of feels like home to me. So the intent was to tell the story, to document this neighborhood. We all know it's a very vast, rich neighborhood, very big. Kind of felt like a big thing to take on. Like, how do you tell the story of a community as diverse, as complex as City Heights. So I went about my research, and luckily I had some great connections in the community, working with Zara and La Maestra and the Women Finance Program here and the community gardens. I also happened to be teaching a class at UCSD in arts education, a young woman named Han Huynh, who is from here, who actually went to Jackson Elementary, which is now Fay Elementary. And after graduating, she went back and did her student teaching at Fay. She's now teaching in DC, but she connected me with her parents, her father, who immigrated, they all immigrated from Vietnam, and her stepmother. I recognized that the way to tell a story about different cultures was to find the common denominator. The common denominator, at least in my world, is always food. And made for great research. I recommend it. So I was invited into people's homes, and I was invited to share their stories and meals and their culturally specific foods. So Han brought me into her home. Actually, she set up this meeting, and before she arrived, I was there with her stepmother, and she was cooking this elaborate meal, and her father was there, and we were kind of doing sign language with each other because she hadn't arrived yet to translate. And I saw his fishing poles leaning in a corner, and my dad fished. And so we kind of, did the sign language for. And he took me into the kitchen and opened up this jar, which apparently hadn't been opened for a while because Han was horrified when she walked in and could smell it. But so he introduced me to dried stingray that he had caught in Mission Bay. And then he took me outside to pick lunch. I ate it. You'll see it in here. I ate it after it was toasted over an open flame and then hammered in a plastic bag, and it was strong. And actually, I should have brought it. He sent me home with a jar of it. I still have that jar. I haven't dipped into it very much, but then we went into the garden, and he picked all the vegetables and herbs that went into the incredible dish that his wife was making. And that's when I decided it should be called Grandmother's Kitchen, Grandfather's Garden, because there was much more going on in this community. And the community gardens at La Maestra are amazing. And, I got to film and eat and share garden stories with all the folks that work in the gardens. Lee Finley from Women's Empowerment International introduced me to another star in the video, Safia, who is sitting next to her, who brought out her 100-year-old basket to make yogurt for me. So you'll see her up in the far right corner making yogurt in this amazing basket. So I've had some phenomenal meals. And so I feel like I've already been enriched completely. And now, then I was introduced to Christy Drake's new arrivals class at Monroe Clark Middle School. And they all come from how many countries all over the world? 15 languages, many more countries, all here in City Heights, just down the street. They each brought dishes in that we talked about and we shared, and several of them now still come to my garden in North Park and do homework and work in the garden. And so this to me has been a wonderful experience, a great project that I'm really honored to have done. And I would like you to actually meet some of these ladies, because they promised me they would come up here and share their names and a little bit of it. Come on, and a little bit of their background. Come on, come on, come on. You promised me you'd do this, so take a minute. Let's see your name and where you're from and where you go to school.
My name is Maya. I'm from Korean State. I go to Horseman Middle School.
And she's a great cook. Yeah. And she made something so hot that there's still steam coming out.
My name is Ekra. I was born in Sudan, then I moved to Egypt, and then I moved to United States in 2012. And I'm an 8th grader.
Hi, my name is Naia. I'm from Burma. I go Clark Middle School.
Hi, my name is Marilyn. I am from Guatemala. I'm going to Clark Middle School and I make PPM for the Pride.
So there sits our future artists and scientists and doctors and politicians. And artists, I said. So the support that I had and the benefit that I had growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up and meeting the artists and working with great organizations, I hope we all can help and support the young people in this neighborhood to have the opportunities that we've had. And you're going to hear from these ladies again, I'm sure. They might be, helping you get whatever fixed here in this clinic soon, because we have some scientists and doctors here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, young ladies. It's wonderful to see your participation and your enthusiasm and how happy you are about this project. And others, La Maestra will also be engaging more of the youth. We already have 4 clinics inside the schools in City Heights. And so when we get ready to launch the art programs in the afternoon, we'll definitely be reaching out to you as well. I just wanted to thank you all for coming, and I know we're waiting for Mayor Filner. He was delayed unavoidably, and unfortunately, he will not be able to make it. We are disappointed. We found some photos that we have up there. In case you miss him so much, you can see his picture there, because that's when he came to visit us in 1994 when we were at our old buildings down the street in front of the dental. We dug them out, can you believe it? And they're right there. So Bob is with us today, okay? Also we've put together a wonderful slideshow back here at this frame. If you look at it, that wood piece that you see right there, it was done by a Terry Hansen, one of our patients who lives out in Santee. We had no idea. The fellow was there, I've been doing this with recycled woods and he makes like, it looks like card tables. It's very intricate, like quilting, but with wood from all over the world. And so he sat down and he said, I'm your patient. I'm really grateful for the services I've gotten here at La Maestra. Maybe I'll do something for you guys. I said, great, whatever you want that, represents to you what this clinic is about, what wellness is about, what art and healing is about. And that's what he came up with. So if you go down to the first floor, you can see it. It's really cool. And these slides show like different pictures throughout the clinic. It's a capsule really of the green components of this clinic. Again, we are the first Gold LEED certified community health center in the nation. So there's a lot of aspects here that we consider art because of the way that it was formed, and just incredible. We learned so much about it, and we hope to continue to learn about the art in City Heights and in general, and we're real excited about that and the role it has with health and wellness. Thank you again for coming today. Really enjoyed having you. There's refreshments in the other room. Please look at the flyer and the paintings from some of our artists, our local artists. Thank you.